Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about our tap display. So it's this piece right here that you can put each tap handle on to show the flavors of beer with your system. And so I just want to talk about how we install this and kind of what is required from you pre-installation and how we do the whole process. This tap display isn't currently installed. We'll go through how that looks, but the way that it is installed, we use a 1/2 inch bolt. And you can see the feet here. Let's see if I can measure it in there. Has this hole here that will just screw into. So we basically just drill a hole on either end of the dispenser into your counter. Unless your counter is stone or concrete, anything other than wood or an easily drillable material, you'll have to use a third party to drill those holes. So we drill the holes and then just put the screw in, tighten it up, and then it stays in place. So, looking at the back side of our dispenser here, this is the back right corner. You can see that this entire counter space underneath is totally open. This is exactly what we need. So we're going to be putting a hole somewhere around this area that we need to easily be able to put that bolt through, and also be able to use a wrench to tighten it up. So same with the other side. So this is the back left. If I'm facing the circuit board, back left, and it's all open underneath here. So this is what we need to install the tap display. Nice open area, easily accessible. We can use a wrench to tighten down those bolts. Okay, so we know that the space underneath the counter where the tap display is going is open, so we're good to do that. So now we just need to do some measurements to plan for where to put the holes. So in the pre-install email you should have received, along with this video link, the measurement of the spacing from hole to hole. Obviously this is a 5-tap display, so each tap display obviously is a different length, and those will be given to you. So just a rough look at this. I don't know if you can tell, but from center to center of the holes, about 33 11/16. So keep that in mind for our spacing. Just write that down for a second. And sometimes the tap display can shift back a little bit. They are tall enough so that you can, even if this was sitting directly, say, over the taps, it's tall enough that you can put a pitcher, a glass, anything on there and still be able to fill. When you kind of start getting towards the back half of it, it's obviously more difficult for the servers to use because they can kind of bunk into it, coming from this angle, trying to pull the glass off. So I like to stick about a 1/2 inch forward from this far edge. It can go out further if it needs to. Same with our countertop units. This is tall enough so that you can easily put a glass on and not bonk if you're kind of directly overhead. So that's not an issue there. All right, so as I mentioned, I like to do my measurements kind of a 1/2 inch off of the far edge. So if we're looking at it from the server side, the far edge of the dispenser. Now this video is kind of taking into account the dispenser already being installed. And obviously if you're watching this video and you've got a stone or a concrete or any sort of harder material that you need to do the hole cutting and drilling on your own, you need to take into account that the flange on this dispenser sticks out a little from what your dispenser hole is cut, if that makes sense. So I've got this over. So here's sort of a jig we use in our shop for installing dispensers. So you'll notice that this is our kind of our hole cut area. So whatever that measurement that's been given to you, and you see these outer corners here. So these are the flanges that are sticking out from the top of the dispenser, like so. So kind of this surface area. And let's use this one here. So from that flange to our hole edge is about 1/4 inch. So what that means for us here So right now I have a mark at a 1/2 inch from the outer flange edge of the dispenser. So if you just have the hole, so if we're not on site and you're preparing for us, and again, you're using a stone countertop, or if you just want to get everything pre-drilled for us, more than welcome to. Just add 1/4 of an inch to this mark. So realistically, from the edge of the hole that's been cut for the dispenser, we're actually at about 3/4 of an inch out. This adjustment to the measurement is also applicable to our countertop models. So in our countertop models, there will be a 4-inch hole cut already, or you will cut a 4-inch hole in the countertop. Again, if it's stone, concrete, any hard material not easily drillable, or wood. Between the far edge of that hole, so here's our 4-inch hole for reference, the far edge of that, about 1/4 inch out, is where the edge of the back edge of the dispenser will be in that countertop chassis. And so then just add, you know, a 1/2 inch from that 1/4 inch there. So 3/4 inches from the edge of the hole out is a pretty good placement for where you're gonna line up the tap display holes. All right, so we've made our marks coming out from the dispenser. So right now we're at a 1/2 inch from the outer flange. It would be 3/4 of an inch from the hole cut if the dispenser is not already in. Then we know that the measurement from center to center of the holes for tap displays, and this number has been sent to you. This is a 5-product tap display, so they're always going to be varying lengths. From kind of center to center is 33 11/16, and the measurement of the length of the dispenser is about 27.5 inches. So you can get down to the nitty-gritty of 33 11/16 minus 27.5, and it gives you, a little over 6 inches. So then you're trying to decide, from edge to edge where the centers are going to go. And if you're looking at that math, it's going to be a skosh over 3 inches. So, working with that, we're going to need to drill 1/2 inch holes into, our points anyways, and you can actually bump that up to about a 5/8 hole. So give you some wiggle room for this, just in case this isn't going to be totally straight, and allows you to kind of even it out. And with just that extra wiggle room, that'll help eliminate, the need to be spot on the money. I think it comes down to 3.09 inches from either side. So to have to eliminate that, what I like to do is I've got this straight edge here. I'm just going to line up and make a mark at where 3 inches is. So it's with my straight edge here. Just going to mark 3 inches on that side. And then let's just flip it around here. Doing the same for here where 3 inches is, so that gives me a vertical line. And then I just use my straight edge to line up where my 1/2 inch marks were. And then just make a horizontal. For that spot. So essentially what we've done is we've made our cross point for our hole. So that is a 1/2 inch down and 3 inches from that edge there. So same deal, we've got 1/2 inch down and 3 inches out. You can always always double check your work too. So just looking at where our cross point is from the far edge there, we're at about 16 and 7/8. Scooting over to the other side, also at 16 and 7/8. You can also, if you have the dispenser in place already for whatever reason, if you're doing this after we've done the install, an easy way to do all this sort of measurement too is you can very easily just get your tap display in position. Scoot back a little here. You can easily get it in position and just kind of do a rough estimate of, edge to edge, sort of like this. And then you could just trace around the feet here with a pen or pencil so you don't mark up the sides, and then you just sort of measure in the distance center to center for this, and it's roughly 7/8 of an inch from center over, and you can make your marks that way. All right, so cross point there. Start with pilot bit. They're a 1/2 inch hole. And I like to route the hole a little bit. This is where you could bump up to a 5/8 if you wanted. Route the hole a little bit, and then you can also just take your bolt and see how straight you are, and see we've got some good wiggle room there just with enough routing, so that shouldn't be a problem. All right, so I've removed the blue tape and I've routed the hole just a little bit to give it some extra wiggle room. So from there, stick the bolt in from the bottom. Get that started there. Get that in this position. And we'll do the same with our hole. It's right there. So stick the bolt up through. Get that started. From the underside, you can see what this looks like. Getting both of them into position. And once they're snug, obviously this is still going to be kind of loose. You can see some wiggling happen. Then you just take a large crescent wrench and just tighten it up. Evenly, of course. And just kind of go from there. It's a rough idea here. Still a little bit wiggly, but obviously you just tighten it. That's how you get your install. Just for the heck of it, we can always double check our work here to see, just from going from the outer edge of our foot there, we're at about 7 7/8 inches from the edge. And on this side, right at 7 7/8. And then you can always just check from this edge to your dispenser flange there. It's about 2 3/16. It's over. And same over here, like we're right at 2 3/16. So we have a nice, evenly spaced tap display. You'll notice that the logo, always you want that facing the customer side so they can see what it is. And having this little bit of space here in the counter allows for a server to use a cup and set it out there if another server is coming to pick it up. So that is how you install the tap display, and that's what it looks like.